Okay. We'll talk about other stuff, but let's entertain the kiddies for now.
I guess. Might as well. I mean, hi kitties. How are you doing? Oh, I hated how that sounded. I don't like that. I hated that.
Take two, Electric Boogaloo.
Hey kids, how's it going? You having a good time? I'm having a good time. I hated that too.
For the record, all this is going in.
Oh, I know.
Welcome to Drunk Thoughts and Stony Creeper opinions.
The persona I never wanted, and I'm getting fucking stuck with it.
Embrace your destiny, Graham.
No, please, God,
Embrace
no.
it. Embrace the kitties. Embrace them. Smoke it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions. My good friend there, Graham, just took a huge hit of high opinion. Holy shit. Up. And now he's Snoop Dogg. That was a good hit. Holy shit.
So the thing is, kids, I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you're not supposed to be thinking. You're supposed to have opinions. I do the thinking around here. You leave the thinking to me, sir.
That's fair.
Stay in your lane.
Well, okay, but what's the adverb? No, not the adverb. What's the verbiage for opinions? Opinionating? I need to opinionate?
Opinionate.
Sir, I need to catch you on this technicality. I do not have a method with which to opinionate. To if there is no verb in which to, and you have hijacked the verb think. So what should we do? What should we do about this? I don't think that I should shut the fuck up. I think that we need to figure this out.
Just give you a perfect solution, and you just poo-pooed it. So it sounds like this is the ball's in your court.
All right.
Well, English major?
You know what? I think we're gonna have to get back to you. I think we're gonna have to discuss this.
Stop thinking.
We're gonna have to have several meetings in the bunker, and we'll get back to you about it.
The yurt, you mean?
Yes. The bunker, the yurt. This is the high. This is. Oh, I spoke with my brother, and he is designing the Weed Heights right now.
I was just gonna say you invented the Weed Heights. You should be able to invent the opinionate.
Yeah, so he has. He at first was going to just do a flight. I guess I didn't describe it well enough at the beginning. But now he realizes what I was going for because it's a height. It's supposed to get you high. So it works on multiple levels. You know, it's a pun. It's a play on words. And
I love it. I will never not love this idea.
So yes, my brother.
I don't even smoke, and I want a weed height.
You just want it as decoration.
I would. I'd put something on it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So what he is currently doing is he's in the design phase. He's gonna work on a few designs, and this is one of his Christmas presents to me. So I'm excited about this.
Me too. Coming soon. Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions, Weed Heights.
Coming soon. Nintendo.
I was going to say, please don't ever say it in that voice again. Oh, God. That's even worse than kitties.
Coming soon.
What about Nintendo God. Now?
Oh, I was just making fun because, at the very end, they had the big coming soon. They had the date, but right below that.
Oh, you're talking about the trailer. You're jumping ahead.
Am I jumping ahead? Am I?
I don't know. Or I'm falling behind, one of the two.
I guess. I don't know. I'm just. I
What's coming soon from Nintendo?
I guess I'm jumping in.
You're jumping in.
Yeah.
No foreplay, no lube, just getting in. All right.
I mean, what better way is there to do it?
No wonder you're single.
So.
Raw Dog, hit me with some facts.
What did you think of the new Mario trailer that just popped into existence today?
It did pop into existence. Nintendo announced it yesterday for a direct today.
Just give
Get your finger on the pulse, Graham.
Details.
Yeah, the devil's in the details, sir.
What did you think of the trailer?
Well, we've discussed this in the past. Let's back up. We've talked about the Mario movie in the past, the new Super Mario Brothers movie from, what is it, Universal Illumination, the good folks who brought us Despicable Me. That first teaser gave us one line of Chris Pratt's Mario, and it was not impressive. Was not too impressed by that take. Everybody thinks Chris Martinet, or Charles Martinet, the voice that everybody knows as Mario, should do the voice in this movie. Cut to trailer 2, which dropped today. Nintendo announced a direct, which we don't know is just their way of saying, "We've got news, motherfuckers!"
Yes.
And dropping it like a day later.
Yes.
As one does.
Exactly.
And I did not hate this trailer as much. I still am not totally sold on Chris Pratt's Mario.
Sure.
I am sold on Charlie Day's Luigi.
I am too.
That was hysterical. Jack Black as Bowser. Yeah, I'm down. And call me easy, call me basic, whatever you want to call me, but the fact that in that trailer, and I'll express a concern at the end, but that trailer had literally every single Mario, homage.
Yes. Every single thing.
Yeah, which is a good and bad thing, because it's like, oh, cool, they're going to include this, but then at the same time,
where are they going from here?
What's the surprise? You're not going to be surprised. I mean, first you had Donkey Kong, and it looked like it was like some sort of Coliseum. I mean, new Donkey Kong's in the movie. He's played by Seth Rogen. Awesome. But, if you looked, the arena that they're in is the original Super Mario Brother, or the original Jumpman stage, the arcade game, Mario Brothers arcade game, where it was Mario trying to climb the wall to get to to Donkey Kong, who's got Princess Daisy, I think it was that time. Is that one?
Sure.
The Coliseum stage looked like that. So you got that homage, and then you had the powers of the fireball and the Tanuki suit. You got Peach in there being a badass. You got Mario Kart, for fuck's sake. Holy shit. So much going on. And it's just you know what? As a fan of the Mario game since the original, I'm like, this looks like it's just going to be kind of stupid fun.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So...
Can I say that this trailer showed us a version of the Mario universe where Peach is the badass and Mario is an absolute ding dong, and I am okay with that if that's the direction they want to go with, because it's always been the fat guy is going to save save the princess, he's jumping on everything, and flipping that on its head. I love it when they subvert expectations. Always have, always will. And so
be on your business card. Graham Sadowski, subverting expectations.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing Peach, twirling that fucking spear like a badass while walking through her kingdom with a bunch of toads. Also, the line, "What are we gonna do? We're adorable."
That was hysterical.
My favorite. We're adorable.
Keegan-Michael Key, I think, is playing the main toad.
He's playing the main toad. Yeah, if that was him saying that, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I agree. Now, it isn't the first time we've seen this, though. Did you ever see the OG Mario movie back in '93 with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo?
I've only seen clips. I've never seen the whole thing.
Holy shit, is it a train wreck?
I know, I've heard of that.
But it is interesting. Who smoked that amount of weed to come up with this idea? And from that aspect, it's kind of interesting.
So that amount of weed, I dream of smoking. Whatever strain.
It's a Goomba-sized weed, that's for sure.
I've only seen parts of that movie, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird movie, but and it's at the end, but it's not really a spoiler because it was more of like a it was a teaser. So in that movie, it's basically the same kind of idea where there's a woman, she gets kidnapped and brought to another kingdom, and it's supposed to be Daisy, I think. It's Daisy is her name. She gets kidnapped, brought to like the Koopa Kingdom, which is like an alternative reality to New York City, and all this weird shit happens. And she is kind of like the damsel in distress, but she's also pretty feisty in the movie. And then the movie ends, obviously they take down King Koopa, played by Dennis Hopper, and then she has to stay there to help rebuild the kingdom while Mario and Luigi go back to New York City. Again, pretty standard. This is not much of a spoiler. Like, come on. First of all, it's a 30-year-old movie. If you haven't seen it by this point, sorry. Secondly, it's a Mario movie, which means we all know the ending.
I actually have seen a breakdown of the original Mario movie, so I know everything that happens in it. I just have not seen the whole thing.
But the last scene is them waxing, Luigi. Like the love story is actually between Daisy and Luigi, believe it or not Mario. Which is
you had me at waxing.
Yeah, but so they're sitting there like, oh, I wonder how Daisy's doing, and then she busts into the door, and she's just dressed to the nines like Furiosa and Mad Max, and is just like a fucking badass, and is like, we need you to come back and save the kingdom again, and then that's when the movie ends.
Wonderful.
So it's like seeing a badass Daisy or Peach is not totally new.
Sure,
but I'm not trying to take away from it. You just said like, oh, this is the first time. It's like it's not the first time. I'm just disagreeing with that point of your statement.
I was incorrect. This is not the first time, but I'm still glad that this is what we're getting for a big major movie. We're
not getting a damsel in distress.
Exactly. In fact, it seemed more like she was kind of like, "Come on, let's go do this," and he was just fucking up everything along the way, and I loved that because it's a kids' movie, and the main character needs to be a doofus. That's just character. That's just.
Use your words carefully.
It's kid storytelling 101. The main character has to be a doofus. Or all the characters around the main character have to be doofuses. It's either or. Either everybody is very smart and they're the doofus, or everybody's a doofus and they're smart. Think about that. Think about that. I want you to think about that.
I am, and I have many examples that I don't agree that contradict you.
Fuck you. I'm right.
Almost all the fucking 90s Disney movies, like Aladdin.
I'm right. No.
You have one doofus, Genie. Maybe Abu, if you want to really split hairs. Abu could be a little bit of a doofus. Abu. I just like saying Abu. Hercules, you only have Pain and Panic are really the big doofuses. Meg is a very strong
Everybody's
character.
a doofus in that. Hades is an absolute buffoon. He's well acted buffoon, but he's an absolute buffoon. Just because they're well acted does not mean they're not absolutely insane. So I would say that they're all doofus. They're all doofuses.
What about Beauty and the Beast? Where you only have Lumiere and Cogsworth that are like the doofuses. Unless you put Gaston as a doofus, which you said
the father.
He's only in it for 5 minutes.
He's considered one of the main characters. I think the Beast. Okay, one or two, and they're both the main characters, so I'll allow it. If there's two main characters, then. That works for the two.
Oh, you'll allow it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was Graham's guide to children's novels. Children's stories.
Sorry.
My bad there, Brothers Grimm.
Sorry. According to according to Kids Storytelling 101, they'll allow it.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Where else can I prove you wrong? I love doing this. Is my favorite pastime.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, back to Mario. What I was honestly kind of excited about in this was a lot of the things that I didn't expect them to go for in this movie, namely references to Mario Kart or an outright race on Rainbow Road, for example.
Yeah, they went hard.
They went hard, and they had a lot of characters. Like he was at the forefront of the race, but there was like 50 people behind him, and
We're getting Mad Max Mario edition.
we're getting exactly. It felt like this movie was like doing it all, and I'm okay with that. I love it when movies go ridiculous like that. It's fun. It's Wet Hot American Summer.
It's like Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin or one of those dudes that I listen to. They talk about that philosophy where it's like, I don't think it's their philosophy. I think they just quoted it from maybe somebody else. Maybe it was James Wan, because I remember they were talking about Aquaman, the Aquaman movie, right. And they basically were saying, treat every movie as though it's your only shot at doing it.
Right.
And so, don't plan on having sequels. Don't plan on building a franchise. Just treat that one movie like it's the first and last that's ever going to happen, and go for it. Just like that Aquaman went for it. Like, they had a fucking squid playing drums.
Yeah.
Just because why the fuck not?
I think that's why I liked Man of Steel without the context of the following films, because it felt like it was like, okay, we're just no holds bounds, we're going. And then once they got to like, Batman v Superman, they were like, we're building towards something. I think that's kind of why I'm just throwing an example in there. It's like, like Aquaman really worked because they were like, oh, well, hopefully this works. Let's just try it. And that's how the MCU worked at first really well, was let's try it. Let's hope this works.
Yeah, Iron Man,
every single
all
film.
Those first phase movies are all perfect independent movies that don't require any other context. Now they have like Easter eggs and they have their post-credit scenes, but they're not core to the movie.
Yeah.
It's
so weird. We've talked about it before. It's so weird seeing a company that has the money to just spend on this, even if it's a loss, and they don't care. Like,
now are we talking Mario? Or are we talking MCU?
Sorry. I mean both Nintendo and Disney. Like, Nintendo spend is very well aware of the losses that they take on things, and they don't care, apparently. I was reading an article about this recently, that Nintendo knows where it succeeds and knows where it can build with a loss. Like, they know that they will build something like in the future. They don't care if they lose a little bit now. They play the long game. They're not
Wii U cough.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Wii U was kind of like, we need to put something out, as you've talked about before.
Yeah, the half measure between the Wii and the Switch.
Yeah, so they knew they were like, we have to just gamble on stuff. Occasionally, we have to put out stuff and try it. Like the new Pokemon games, they're fun. They have a lot of great stuff going on. A lot of work needs to be put into them. If they had delayed them 6 months, I would have been fine with that, and they probably would have been better for it. But like, Nintendo does not care about fucking up, because they know that they can recuperate. Exactly. Disney and Nintendo are titans. So back to like with this Mario movie, even if it was a disaster, they wouldn't care. They would just do it again and fix whatever they didn't do.
A drop in the pot for them.
Yeah, but, exactly. Like they, as I've discussed before, I thought that Chris Pratt could have been a patsy for them to announce that, because you were like so upset about this, we decided to get Charles Martinet. Which is giving in to fans, and companies shouldn't do that, because then the fans get entitled, and they're already entitled enough. So
you have so much shit to give.
Yeah. So I think that based off of this trailer, this movie is going to be at least very good. I don't know if it'll be a great film. It'll be fun. It'll be good. I don't know if it'll be a great film, but it will be very fun. It will be very fan servicey. I think that they have made a lot of good decisions in terms of casting. I'm not convinced by Chris Pratt yet, and like the thing is, I'm worried at the fact that they are not showing us so much. Like they had him just in little bites here and there. Why are they hiding his voice? What's so special about his performance? We're just going like if it's not, if it's anything short of spectacular and like world changing, people are just going to be disappointed by not having heard it earlier. Like they're going to be like, why was this such a buildup? Why was this such a thing? Like we've only heard little tiny chunks of it. Like it's like, you know, it's like seeing like glimpses of the ghost in a horror movie trailer. You know, it's like, why is Chris Pratt's voice, Mario voice, being treated like the horror movie monster here?
Yeah, they are.
It makes no sense.
Definitely, like you got more of Luigi in this one trailer than we probably have gotten in Luigi in the last like 10 games.
Did they hire him and then he didn't deliver what they wanted, and now they're embarrassed, but they can't get rid of him?
It's very possible. I don't know. There was a glimmer of hope. His last line where I think he goes, "Let's go" or something.
He was like, "Woohoo!"
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, all right." Like that's half measure.
That we get. That's fine. That's the bare minimum. I mean, but
you got to start somewhere.
They are doing it where he's from Brooklyn, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm just judging it too early. You know, I love Chris Pratt. Andy Dwyer is one of my favorite characters of all time. Yeah. I am Andy Dwyer. I relate to that character on so many fundamental levels, and so like I love Chris Pratt. I don't want to hate on him, but like I'm so bored with him being as a star. He was so much better when he was a B actor. If that makes sense. Sure. He was more entertaining.
He definitely the market seems to be saturated with him, and I feel like Hollywood does this a lot, where they find, you know, somebody hits big and they get really hot, and so they just scoop them up for every little thing.
Tom Holland.
And then that was going to be my example. Was like Tom Holland got real big with Spider-Man, and then you saw him in, you know,
Uncharted, and he was
Onward
in that Disney
with
movie. Yeah,
and
with
like
Chris Pratt.
And a bunch of shit. And it was like, and I enjoy Tom Holland. Like I watched Uncharted again the other day, and I was like, you know, this is
exactly. I love Tom Holland.
Okay. Yeah. But it's just there's just so much going on and too much, and you just when you see their face in every other movie, like
there's literally only one, I think maybe one person, maybe two, that if all of a sudden they just were everywhere, I would be delighted. But everybody else, if like they just were, you know, appearing everywhere all at once, I would kind of be like, all right, I'm over it. But that's Dylan Moran, the Irish comedian.
We talked about him. We're not go down that rabbit hole.
That's the only person who, if he just blew up and appeared everywhere, I would be happy. Chris Pratt, as much as I love Chris Pratt, I just don't want to see him constantly anymore. Like Jurassic World was good. I was happy with that for a while. And then it just became everything. Well, like, sorry. I should have started with Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was going to say Guardians was his big kickoff. And then, he did that. He did that movie with Jennifer Lawrence, who she was another one of those actors who just was like in everything after he got big. And then you have the Jurassic World trilogy. And that's the thing is Chris did, he glommed on to trilogies and franchises, you know, versus these one-offs. And so he
went for the
every
big money.
He did. And I can't say I wouldn't do the same in his shoes. You know, if I was him, I probably would have done it too, fucking A. But like, yeah, Jurassic World, and he did the Tomorrow War, and like just all this stuff, and power to him. Like I'm glad the guy's getting work, but I think there's a little fatigue just happening, and so I think maybe Nintendo's kind of trying to maybe hype up the rest of the roles because they just know that no matter what they do, people know it's Chris Pratt, and they know they're not going to get the reception that, you know, he's not going to get the highest of receptions no matter what they do. Yeah. So it's like, well, let's focus, let's shift attention. Let's put the focus on Charlie Day, who, like I said, he's fantastic. And even Anna Taylor-Joy, who is, I think, one of those other actors who's becoming way too big for her britches and is in every little thing. Like, she's everywhere now.
Honestly, I'd love that if Mario ends up being a character who barely talks, and it mostly is about the other characters. If this is a movie that's more about Charlie Day's Luigi, I'm a happy man, because Charlie Day's Luigi entertains me to no end.
Yeah.
Charlie Day entertains me to no end. But I have one key question for you. Does this mean that Luigi knows Pepe Sylvia?
I don't even know who Pepe Sylvia is. Who? What? No.
From It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Charlie Day's whole thing about, like, Pepe Sylvia, the thing where, the meme where he's like,
I haven't watched It's Always Sunny in 8 years.
That's like a season 6 joke or a season 5 joke.
I watched it 8 years ago one time.
Fair enough.
I probably could ask you, you remember what you had for breakfast.
It's not like a big meme or anything.
Oh, the only thing I want to know Charlie Day in the memes is...
That's the one!
Okay, fair. But I don't know what he's referring to. It's just Mad Charlie Day.
Fair enough. And for those who are listening without looking at we're not putting video out anymore.
Everybody knows the meme. Everybody knows Charlie
the one
Day
where he's
like
just crazy looking at. Yeah, I was just
gonna
say that you were miming it, but whatever.
Exactly, people get it.
Yeah,
but Nintendo definitely, whoever is directing this, Illumination is going on way 20 minutes ago.
Your sound.
Definitely putting Nintendo.
Sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying because it sounds like you're in a fishbowl.
Fishbowl. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Better?
Yeah, that's better. For some reason, every time you were speaking, it sounded like you would start to speak and then it would go, and then you'd hear like one word and that's
it's probably a connection error, Wi-Fi. Yeah. But I was saying, Nintendo is definitely treating this film as though it is their only shot, or not Nintendo, Illumination, as though this is their only shot at a Nintendo franchise, and that's great in my opinion because it's just going to mean that this movie is going to go to the nines. And it's going to be really slapsticky and goofy and weird, and they're just going to play up every joke and play with every trope that they can get their hands from Nintendo on.
Oh, absolutely.
I just hope it's not too much to the point where it's like, if everything's funny, nothing's funny.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good about it. Illumination has that, that Despicable Me background, which is...
I liked all 3 Despicable Me movies.
And they're pretty entertaining, like, objectively.
I liked all 3 Despicable Me movies, and I was like an adult by the time the 3rd movie came out.
I think I've only seen them as an adult.
Yeah, so like I enjoyed those movies. I have high faith in Illumination. I don't know, I forget what else they've done besides Despicable Me, but honestly, I have faith in them. The only problem is Mario's ass is not the correct size.
Oh my god!
He is constantly jumping. He should have the biggest fucking booty. He should he's constantly butt slamming shit. He is going to break himself if he doesn't have proper cushioning, and he gets that proper cushioning because he's constantly jumping. There's a reason to his design. He's always had a big ass. If you go back and look at the original designs, he had there was a little dot to show that he had an accentuated butt. It's always been there in all the games.
What Mario game are you playing with pixelated assholes?
All the Mario games, they always accentuated his ass.
No.
Yes.
He's just a plumber.
Mario's a thick boy, and they are not accentuating that. I think what I'm hoping is that maybe part of this movie is that his ass will grow from all the jumping he does. That would be hilarious.
The Super Mario Brothers movie, The Birth of Mario's Ass.
Yes, I would love that. I would honestly love that. Please,
the sequel Return of the Ass.
Please, Nintendo, I'm begging you.
Oh my god. This movie's gonna go PG-13 real quick.
Yes.
Gonna shove a Goomba right up his butthole.
So what are the prospects of making a kids R-rated movie?
Oh. Have you seen some of these twisted horror movies that they're doing based on IP that's now.
I mean, I would argue that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one, that should be a fucking like.
That movie's amazing.
It's an amazing movie. It's still horrifying and gives you nightmares.
Maybe you. I loved that movie growing up.
It's a great movie. Still
I've been
gives
watching
you
it since I was like
nightmares.
6, and I was like, "This is fantastic." Gene Wilder is amazing.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's freaky. It's definitely an off the wall movie. But I figured that was right up your alley there, Acid Trip.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm just saying it's also horrifying. And as a kid, and if you're a child, it gives you nightmares. As an adult, it doesn't.
If you're
as
a child, I didn't have nightmares.
Most people I know are like had some
Who do
nightmares.
you know? You don't have friends.
Excuse me. I once had a very active social life before people started hating me for some reason.
Maybe because you told them that they had nightmares from a movie they didn't.
Maybe. Maybe that's the answer. I should apologize.
Yeah.
Right after this bowl.
Call up your friend. Be like, "Hey man, remember 30 years ago, 20 years ago, when I told you to go to this?" What was I saying though? Fuck. Pothole. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I was gonna say there's all these weird ass movies coming out because of the now that the domain is up on some of these IP, people are making horror movies based on like the craziest intellectual properties. That Winnie the Bear, Blood and Honey, or Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Looks horrifying as fuck, and I'm like just off the wall, bonkers, hysterical.
Whew. Sorry, smoked a fatty. Continue.
Oh, the fatty smoked you. No, I'm just looking for some correspondence here.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I honestly, the fact that IPs are the what is it? The law, the fucking bullshit where you can't use licensing laws for 70 years. The fact that those are up for a lot of things, like Mickey Mouse is up, I think in a few years or something, or is already up. The fact that people will be able to make like the weirdest fucking Mickey Mouse films ever, and Disney won't be able to do shit about it. Disney won't be able to do shit about it. They will definitely try, but they won't be able to do shit about it because they've had control of that character for so long. The only thing that they'll have
public domain
control
over, the word.
Public domain. When these IP become public domain, Disney, the only thing that Disney has control over is the stuff that they've already made. So I'm gonna love watching them squirm when public domain hits like Mickey Mouse and other things. And obviously it's not going to happen until 2040 or something, but Star Wars. I think because the original Star Wars is 1977. I think from that point on, the IP, because that's like Mickey Mouse, the first time Mickey Mouse showed up, 1928. So 1977, probably like 2050, 2060. That won't happen for a while, but it will be funny. It will be funny when things like that do happen, where these companies have had control over an IP for so long, and then all of a sudden the whole world has like control over it.
When Star Wars goes public domain, if we haven't actually had a real Star Wars, then I think we're just failing as a species.
Oh yeah, I mean Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying that on CNN, like yesterday or something like that. He was like, what we're doing now is stuff we should have been doing 50 years ago in terms of like going to the moon and going to Mars and stuff like that. He's like, we should have been doing this. We should have been spending so much money on this instead of the bullshit wars we have. Like, it's like, yeah, I agree with that.
Well, the other reason I brought up the whole public domain weirdness, another trailer dropped this week for The Mean One. Have you seen this one or heard about this?
No, I haven't. What is this?
It's the same idea of a character inspired by kids book, going to fucking bonkers and going on a murder spree, and it's based on The Grinch.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's fucking freaky as hell.
It's horrifying. Oh god.
I'm gonna talk for a minute. You get on your computer and you Google The Mean One and just look at like a screenshot of this Grinch character that you got going on. Because holy shit, is it the shit of nightmares. But yeah, the story is like something like in Whoville, the girl sees her like parents get murdered by the Grinch, but nobody believes her except for like the crazy people. But then it's like 20 some odd years later, and he comes back to to steal Christmas again, and so she goes on goes on a hunt to take him down. I don't know. It looks absurd and just ridiculously weird, but holy crap, was like the picture of the makeup for the Grinch was freaky as hell. You find it?
Yes, I found it. I found it.
How's that treating you?
I don't like how similar the Grinch looks to the original, at least with the horrifying like Winnie the Pooh thing. It was like, this looks so different from actual Winnie the Pooh. Like, I can separate it. But this, it's like, it looks like the Jim Carrey Grinch. And so now it's like, God damn you. God damn you all to hell. Well,
that's gonna... You weren't trying to sleep tonight, were you, homie?
Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah,
so I guess I'm just gonna be taking the rest of my bottle of vodka to bed. To use as a weapon, obviously, once it's empty.
Yeah, just smash over your nightstand and go to town.
Exactly. So this Mario movie, predictions. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to be? Are they going to like tease anything? Do you think? Personally, I'm gonna throw this out there. With the weight of what they're throwing out, I feel like they might be heading towards a Super Smash Bros. Reveal at the end. I know that seems early. I know that this is only the first movie, but they've gone so hard in this trailer of what they're going to be showing off. It feels like something where they would like tease, maybe not just outward say it, but like tease a Super Smash Bros. Future.
Here's a theory. So that Donkey Kong scene, that's going to be at the end of the movie. That is the teaser trailer.
Oh, interesting.
That'll be the teaser trailer because it's basically like that. If you look at the cinematography when Kong catches his head, that is a Super Smash Brothers angle.
Yeah.
And that could tease something like, it's like, all right, now you have Donkey Kong, you have Mario, Luigi, Peach. All you need to do is like bring in, it's like, oh, well, now it's like, oh, Mario, looks like Mario's got his hands full with Donkey Kong. Maybe we need to bring in a visitor from another world. And all we get is the silhouette of Link, credits.
I thought that too. But if you look at that stage that they're at, that is the original stage from the Jumpman game.
Yeah.
So that could just be like him, because Mario and Donkey Kong originally were rivals. What if that's just paying homage to that? I don't think that they're gonna. I was thinking the same thing at first, that would be kind of their lead into it. But then I thought more about it, and I thought no, they're gonna hold back and do something more like exciting as a teaser. I think at the very end, I think that scene there is going to be more like Mario competing with Donkey Kong for like his respect, so to speak. There's a lot of that going around, people competing for one's respect, and I think Mario is going to do that with Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong is just going to beat the shit out of him, and that's going to get his him.
Basically Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and then Donkey Kong's going to be like, all right, I respect you, little buddy.
So the only reason I think this is my theory, and this is where my theory is based out of. Here's my showing my work, so to speak. Again, I just watched the Uncharted movie because it's on Netflix here in the States.
Sure.
I watched it again. I saw it in theaters once, and then I watched it again just for shites and giggles. And I remember in the trailers to that movie, there was a lot of they showed this one scene almost every time, where it was Tom Holland is Nathan Drake, getting like held up. He's like, he's being he's got a gun pointed at him, and in walks Mark Wahlberg as Sully, and they have a little banter of like, "Are you serious with this kid?" And he goes, "Are you serious with that mustache?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah. Well, eventually when your balls drop, you'll get one too, or something." He's like, "Oh, once puberty hits, you get your own." And that is both Nate and Sully very much in their banter, very much in their wheelhouse, and the mustache is like a thing that they talk about in all the games and stuff like that. Like that is peak Uncharted moment, and that's a post-credits scene.
Oh, but it was in the trailer.
Yes, and it was like in all the trailers. They showed it in all the trailers. This one scene of Nate and Sully going back and forth, and it ended up being a post-credits scene to set up the next movie in the franchise.
Oh man, I wonder if so many people were like angry like throughout the movie. It's like that scene is just not showing up anywhere, and then they're like, it better be past the fucking credits, and then it wasn't. Like, oh, I can imagine a lot of people thinking that, because some people get worked up about the trailers and then stuff not showing up that was in the trailer, and I get that because you're teasing something that doesn't actually show up in the actual product. It is false advertisement, so I get it. But I can see some people who take it a little. I know a lot of people on the internet who take it way too far, and I can just see them boiling at the theater, like, "Where is this scene?"
Yeah, exactly. So I could see that scene with Mario and Donkey Kong being like an end credit, thing, and then like the silhouette of Link or Kirby or Pikachu. My money's gonna be on Kirby.
Could be,
or Link. Those are the two. Those are my two forerunning thoughts.
They were surrounded by monkeys. It seemed like it was Donkey Kong's world that they were fighting at. So that's the only thing that I'm like. And it could be that's just how they're teasing it up, is like it's like pre Super Smash Bros, where it's like them kind of, it's like a Fight Club sort of thing before it becomes official. I don't know, or it's just a small group of people and it grows in future movies. I don't know.
Well, the kicker is you can't do a Super Smash Brothers movie with the roster that Ultimate has, because of the rights. Like, you have so many different IPs in the new games. You're not going to be able to swing that. The only way you'd be able to, in my mind, the only way you'd be able to do a Smash Bros. Movie, at least a first one, would be like with the OG 8 characters we got in the original game.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking they were going to do, is just the original game, or Melee or something. Probably just the original game. That's my favorite. It's so simple, and I love the N64 controller. But if they were to tease that up, and like, Captain Falcon or Link, or
Samus,
Fuck
Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is the worst goddamn character in that game, and he needs to get away. If I don't play another Smash Bros. Game with Jigglypuff in it, I will be a happy man.
I'm just saying, like, if one of those OG characters like pops up after the fight with Donkey Kong, then I might get a little hyped, because did you know that the longest published like novel in the English language is a fan fiction for Super Smash Brothers? It's like 6,000 pages or something, like it's something ridiculous. It's an actual like Super Smash Brothers plotted out by one person. It's a fan fiction, or it started out as like fan fiction, and then they got it published somehow. Like, I know that like Nintendo is like famously like super fucking pissy about it, but somehow it's like official. Maybe not official with Nintendo, but I think through like parody rights or whatever, they were allowed to have it published. But it's 5,000, 6,000 pages or something like that. Something like 2 million words or 3 million words. It's something ridiculous. But remember, that's all the characters in the Super Smash Brothers roster, and they have to all tie it together. So you kind of understand. It makes sense. Sure. All right. Fuck you. my hypotheses are wasted on you. My opinions. How dare you flaunt them?
I mean, this whole show is about being, wasted opinions and thoughts.
That's fair.
That's kind of our shtick there, Graham. Like, everything is wasted here.
That's fair. I can't argue with that.
To be fair.
All right. Before we get a letter in the mail from
Jared
Kiso. Hey, guys.
Only if he did it in the Shorzy voice.
Oh, you want a howler letter? Like, you want a magical howler letter that just screams in Shorzy's voice?
Yes, that's exactly what I want. and it has to have his like lip curl for around the two, and like every once in a while, like spit into a cup.
And when you respond, it has to go, huh?
What?
Huh?
Huh?
Right as you're about to start.
So winning this cup would really be the so I'd be so good to you. They have a new season coming out the 25th of Letterkenny. Oh, I'm so excited.
I just want another season of Shorzy.
I bet they'll alternate.
I hope so, but I think we've gotten like 2 seasons of Letterkenny since the last season of Shorzy. I don't know. Remember, this show started in 2016 or 2017 or something like that, and it's
Shorzy?
No, Letterkenny. It started in 2016, and it's now releasing its 13th season or something like that.
Yeah, because it's 6 episodes, and they do it like twice a year.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you'd think that they would have another season of Shorzy at this point.
Yeah.
It's been nearly a year, man.
Yeah, it's been almost a year for Letterkenny as well.
Maybe they slowed down.
I think they did to like get out Shorzy.
Maybe that's fair. Well, we're not talking about Letterkenny and Shorzy. We're talking about Mario, and we're gonna wrap this conversation up because
2 guys, hardworking dudes in jeans and overalls and denim. I think there's a through line here. I think Mario and
that's fair.
Wayne would get along really well.
I don't know. I think that Wayne would find Mario just a little bit too energetic for his taste. He'd like to take it down there a notch there, bud. Hey, bud.
You can take about 20% off the top there, Squirrely Mario.
Squirrely Mario.
Tanuki Mario.
And how about take about 80% off there, Luigi?
Yeah.
Terrible impressions.
Yes.
So let's just not do that.
Squirrely Dan wore overalls too. Just fine. Squirrely Dan and you think about it, Squirrely Dan and Derry are basically Mario and Luigi of Letterkenny.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And you put those two in those 2 roles, I'd watch that movie. Squirrely Dan and Derry is Mario and Luigi.
You know what? If we're talking about Mario, I've got a very interesting movie for you. It's a Paul Rudd movie. And it's not anything that you're thinking of. It's not anything that you are expecting me to say. There's a movie called Prince Avalanche from like 2012, 2013. And it was made by David Gordon Green, the director who's done the last 3 Halloween movies. He did Pineapple Express. He's worked a lot with Danny McBride. And so doing an indie film back in 2012, 2013, David Gordon Green worked with Paul Rudd. And the basic premise is that this man it paints lines on fixed roads after a wildfire has decimated a forest. So they're repaving the roads that go through the forest. It's an innocuous film about a man who is depressed because he sends home he works hard, sends home money to his girlfriend to support her, and she doesn't really give a shit about him. He does so much for him, and so he just kind of he does all this work and doesn't get anything in return, and never gets to see his girlfriend. She doesn't even show up in the film because he's always off working. But he's stuck with her brother, her younger brother, who he promised he would get him a job, and so they're basically the entire film just talking about their issues, their problems. And,
where are you going with this, Graham?
Oh, I'm getting to it right now. Mm-hmm. According to Paul Rudd and David Gordon Green, while they were making the film, while they were writing it, while they were producing it, while they were doing the whole thing, their headcanon was that this was taking place in the Mario universe. That's all that they did. They said that they wanted little tiny details to be like off from our reality, taking place in Mario's universe. So they're wearing blue overalls the entire film, and some of the vehicles are like, that looks a little. Whatever. You don't think about it too much, but then, like, if you were to go back and rewatch, you're like, those vehicles are kind of more off than I would have thought about. But they just have these kind of little tiny details in the film that are meant to be like, this is taking place in the Mario universe. That was their headcanon. And I thought that is a very interesting thing to do. You're not actually making a film in that universe. The filmmakers in their head are saying that this is happening, but you're making your own artistic film. Like, this was a film about growing up and what it's like to be in relationships and what it's like to have relationships with both men and women, sexually and non-sexually. Like, the film was all about just living life and experiencing life and what it's like to go through traumas and heartache and problems. And it's a little tiny detail. It doesn't matter to the film whatsoever. It's a wonderful film on its own. But knowing that is like, I kind of get that in a weird way. It's this human film that is silently taking place in this very goofy universe.
Mushroom Kingdom?
Yeah. Or, well, in Mario's version, he did before he's gone to the Mushroom Kingdom. That sort of thing. I think that's what they were going for. I'm not sure. It was an interesting thing and I really liked that movie, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody who wants to check it out. Prince Avalanche, David Gordon Green, Paul Rudd. Okay,
Graham's movie recommendation for the week.
And you know how I usually forget like names and stuff like that. I remembered this movie. I didn't look it up. I remembered this time. That's how much of an impact this movie was on me. And guess what? I watched this movie like a year and a half ago, maybe longer.
Okay.
That's how big of an impact this movie was.
We get it. All right. Shut the fuck up. We get it. You like the movie. That's how big. You're jerking off to Paul Rudd. We get it.
Yes, I am. Always. You know how much I love Paul Rudd. You know he's not a practicing Jew. He perfected it. Which brings me to my next point. And I've been wanting to say this for a while. People have been all excited that Moon Knight is Jewish.
We've talked about this.
I am bringing it up again. People have been all up on the idea that, like,
I swear to God, I'll mute you.
Moon Knight is the first Jewish superhero. No, he's not. We've had Paul Rudd since 2015. And he's not trying to hide his Jewishness.
feel better? You feel like you got that off your chest? Are you even Jewish, dude?
What?
Are you even Jewish?
No, but everybody thinks I am.
The nose. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Before
that's
I hurt Graham, we should probably wrap this up. Or hurt myself.
Maybe a good idea.
Both are very viable at this juncture. All right, well, I think that's a wrap on Super Mario's ass for this week. We've already done one episode. I can't name this Super Mario's ass because we already did a title like that. I don't want to confuse the viewers, so we'll just do the Mario Brothers movie or something. Super Mario Brothers movie, I guess. But in the meantime, Graham, I think your website's finally alive, isn't it?
My website is live. That's pretty exciting.
It's alive!
It's alive!
Technically, when
our last episode went out, and I hesitantly said that it was out, it was true. It was out. But now I can definitively say in real time, yes, it is done. I've published some works on there. Shut the fuck up. I've officially published my works. The pages are up. You can go look at them at mad-musings.com. That again is mad-musings.com. And you can also catch me at Outrageous Creation on Instagram. I basically am just teasing this and Mad Musings. So there's no reason to catch me up there. I don't talk about my personal life. Get out of my personal business. So, Corey, what about you?
Why isn't your username Instagram?
Because I think that's already taken by way too many grams.
Yeah, that's very likely.
Because every single Graham who has ever used Instagram gets that joke. It is not possible to have the name Graham, use Instagram, and not get teased about it at least once by somebody unless you live in a goddamn fucking hole. So...
In which case you probably don't have Instagram.
Exactly.
They sound like Mad Musings, for sure.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Mad-Musings.
So these are the sort of things that you can find at my website at, again, this is mad-musings.com, where you can find my short stories, my shorter stories, and my... scenes from plays and poetry. Corey, where can we find you?
I can be found bottom of a bottle.
Oh, good.
But online, I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter while it lasts, YouTube, OnlyFans, RedTube. Wherever you can find me. Hey, man, this podcast not generating any revenue, so gotta do something here to pay the bills. But at RoxyBoy, that's ROKESYBOY, on all the fun shit. And you can get to my website from any of those because it's got a long URL that I'm not going to recite here. Why are you shaking your head at me?
I was doing it for the audience who's not watching at all.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this week's episode of Drunk Thoughts and High Graham. I'm not nearly drunk enough to deal with the high Graham. Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions. That's it for this week. Thank God. Say goodbye, Graham.
I'm getting there. Thank you, everybody.
2 words.
Thank you,
goodbye
everybody.
and Graham. That's all you need to say.
Goodbye, Graham.
There you go. Thanks very much. That's all you had to fucking say. Follow directions.
Okay.